city is under siege. This is a threat to our democracy. It is a nationwide insurrection. This is madness.
All right, you heard it there. That was the Ottawa chief of police calling out the Freedom Truckers, calling them, as you just heard, insurrectionists. We've heard that word before. Welcome back into Wake Up America. Happy Monday to you. I'm Rob Finnerty. The city of Ottawa is under a state of emergency this morning. The mayor calling the situation, quote, out of control. Joining us now for more, the lawyer being crowdfunded to represent those truckers, Chad Williamson, back with us here on the show. And in studio, Daily Caller reporter Brianna Lyman with us on the show. Appreciate you both being here with us. Brianna, I'd like to start with you. The mayor in Ottawa says the truckers are a threat to public safety. Words like siege and insurrection are being used all the time to describe them. It's laughable what's going on up there. What's your take on the situation in Ottawa, Canada?
You know, what's going on there? I mean, it's frightening. You see people dancing in the streets. I've seen people feeding each other. It gives me the chills when I look at it. And what's really happening here amongst these truckers is they're protesting tyranny, and they're met with more tyranny, right? The idea that the Ottawa police are declaring this a state of emergency is risible, because what's going on is not a state of emergency. The state of emergency is the fact that you have these tyrannical policies that no one is pushing back against. And the reason that conservatives take such particular umbrage with what's going on with these Canadian truckers is because it's a microcosm of this larger cancel culture that conservatives are facing every day, and now these truckers are facing.
Chad, what's your take on this situation and how these truckers are doing?
Thanks, Rob. Brianna's absolutely right. And I'd just like to clarify again, my involvement is mostly centered around the Coutts border crossing in Alberta and Ontario and Manitoba. However, I am obviously a lawyer, and I'm happy to talk about what's happening in Ottawa. To call this an insurrection is absolutely ridiculous. Like Brianna said, we've got people out there with Canadian flags. We've got people feeding one another. We've got people listening to music and dancing in the streets. To call these or to mark these people as anything remotely dangerous is absolutely absurd. Now, last night, it's as a brand new development, it's my understanding that pursuant to the emergency status that the mayor had put the city of Ottawa in, the police had started to, we have reports of arresting truckers and seizing fuel. Now, frankly, we're not sure under which legal authority they are doing so. Again, our Constitution here in Canada and the Charter of Rights and Freedoms enshrines everybody's ability to protest and to freely associate and gather to demonstrate for political purposes. So it may be easy to charge these folks. Prosecution and convictions are going to be an entirely different matter. And the organization that I work with, now people can find more information here at truckerlawyer.ca, has boots on the legal counsel boots on the ground who have agreed to assist with any charge that is laid upon the folks out in Ottawa, similar to our efforts here in Alberta, where we're going to be assisting with any charges that are laid.
And this is all about these vaccine mandates, the mask mandates. When you look at the video of what's going on up there, this is not the storming of the Bastille, all right? This is not some wild, violent insurrection. It looks like a festival. There are like little kids there. People are having fun. They're cooking, but they're standing up for what they believe, and they're doing so legally. Brianna, you've been covering a lot of the mandates for the Daily Caller, particularly mask mandates. What do you make of the rhetoric that's out there right now? This is CNN basically is saying that these truckers are galvanizing the far right, not just in Canada, but in worldwide, everywhere.
You know, what's happening now with the mask mandates, I mean, we've seen the studies, we've seen the reports. CNN has come out and said the mask cloths that people are wearing, they're not working, right? If you're not using an N95, don't wear a mask. I mean, I caught COVID wearing a mask all the time, right? So there's no real logic here. But the fact that they're trying to convince these truckers and people worldwide that the truckers who are opposing mask mandates are somehow part of this far-right conspiracy that's anti-science is ridiculous, right? Because the science that we have available shows they're actually justified in what they're saying, and that being, anti-vaccine mandate is not that big of a deal, right? Plenty of people get the vaccine and they get COVID.
Yeah, that's a good point. Chad, this This began as a protest for the truckers over vaccine mandates, but it's snowballed into basically just public outcry about these COVID-19 measures. Justin Trudeau has been, he literally said that he supports the violent Summer of Love BLM protests that we had here in the U.S., where police precincts were burning down, yet Ali Velshi on MSNBC said they're mostly peaceful protests. Behind him, a building is literally burning to the ground. Where is Justin Trudeau on this, and what happens this week? Where does this go?
Well, and I'm just going to put this out there. I'm no scientist, but our prime minister is triple vaxxed, or I should say double vaxxed and boosted. And it's my understanding that latest reports indicate that he has contracted COVID, yet he is still pushing the vaccine mandates. Now, take that for what you will, but he has absolutely no intention of talking to this people. He has said that he only supports nonviolent protests. And as you said, Rob, he supported BLM, which was destructive, to say the least, causing billions and billions of dollars worth of damage to infrastructure, businesses, family businesses as well.
Right.
And the truckers out here, to my knowledge, apart from a couple of arrests, which are probably unlawful to begin with, we don't have any reports except for, I guess there were some agent provocateurs. They're not even sure if they're real protesters. There was a swastika flag somewhere not even close to the protest. Of course, a picture got snapped of that.
And that picture was everywhere. Yeah. But the agent provocateurs, that's fascinating. Where have I heard that before?
Well, and this is the whole thing, is these are all unsubstantiated claims, right? And I like to say that in situations like these, rumors fly around like snowflakes in a blizzard, so it's tough to understand what you can trust and what you can't.
Right, very good point.
But one of the things that I am seeing as a result, Rob, of the bizarre narratives that are coming from legacy media and governments across the country really is the poking the holes in these bizarre narratives that are being spun. And frankly, this is the first time, Rob, in the last 2 years where I think people are seeing a prime minister who's vaccinated now has COVID.
Yeah, and he just left. He abandoned the city. He should be leading from the front. Instead, he left. Guys, we got to leave it there. Chad Williamson, Brianna Lyman, thank you so much for coming on. Keep us posted. I'd love to continue this conversation as the week continues. This story, not one that's going to go away. Fascinating to see it play out this weekend, though. Thank you, guys. Stay with us. We'll be right back.